If you're going through a really stressful time or you found yourself under extreme pressure recently, no doubt you've experienced the fight or flight response. Now, when those stressors don't go away, and they've been happening for a long time maybe, it can have a really negative impact and lead to a dysregulation of your nervous system, which basically means it can lead to a prolonged state of anxiety, stress and worry, maybe trouble sleeping, and other various problematic internal responses. And this response is your fight and flight response, and it's automatic. It's your body's sympathetic response, and long term it can impact your mental and physical health. So in this video I'm going to share 6 very simple habits that you can build into your daily life that will help you deal so much better with stress and anxiety. And over time, as you practice these habits, they will help you lower your response to ongoing stress and pressure whilst engaging your parasympathetic nervous system, and that counteracts the body's stress response so you can soothe and settle any negative feelings that are happening at that moment. Before we get started, I'm Andrew Major, and I'm on a mission to help people build a stronger mind by sharing useful tools and resources that I've learned on my journey as a clinical hypnotherapist and psychotherapist. So let's get started with habit number 1. Box breathing or square breathing. And this is always at the top of my recommendation list, and it is so simple and easy to do, and that's why it's up there, because there's so much more going on than just deep breathing. And okay, lots of people talk about deep breathing exercises, and I'm sure you've heard it before too, and there's such a good reason for this, because it really is the foundation skill for calming down your nervous system. Because when you're breathing, that breathing rate directly reflects the level of tension that you're carrying in your body. Now, under tension, your breathing usually becomes shallower, more rapid, and usually occurs higher up in the chest. Now, when you're relaxed, we breathe more fully, more deeply, and that comes from your abdomen. So when you practice breathing deeply, you stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, and that's the branch of your autonomic nervous system that promotes that state of calmness, of quietness, creating greater feelings of connectedness between your mind and body. Now, when we're stressed and anxious, we spend more time up here in our heads, but with a few minutes of deep breathing, we bring ourselves back down into the whole of our body. So by practicing these breathing exercises, it really does trigger that relaxation response. And actually, I've created a whole video on box breathing, which you can watch, follow along with, that takes you through that step by step. And I'll pop the link up here somewhere so you can watch that. And the good news is that box breathing is so simple, and it means that you can easily do that anywhere, including at your desk at work, on the train, or even in the cafe. Habit number 2, practice the 90-second rule. And this is a great habit that you can develop the more that you practice, and it will really help you regulate your response to everyday situations. Because we all have that power to choose moment by moment, actually, how we want to be in the world. And when we learn to take control of our thoughts, we can control the way that we respond. So the next time something happens and you feel triggered, I want you to notice those thoughts and those feelings. Take a deep breath and wait. Wait for 90 seconds. So you can look at your watch, look at the second hand turning, or maybe check your phone for the time, but just take that moment to pause. And that means that you'll be observing yourself having this response instead of engaging with it. And it will take less than 90 seconds, and you will feel better, and those feelings won't escalate. Because from the moment that you think the thought that triggers the fight and flight response to the chemicals flushing out of you, it does take less than 90 seconds. And to make this even more effective, create yourself some more mental space by going into another room, for example, creating that separation. And you can even combine that with box breathing too. And the more you practice this, the more effective that becomes. Habit number 3, laughter. Now, laughter is a very simple thing, of course, but really powerful, because we can all use it to feel more positive. And actually, we get a mini workout from a good laugh, don't we? The lungs work harder, the blood flow is boosted, and it breaks through that low mood and gives you that good feeling, that good sensation. So just smiling is even good for you too. You know, the muscle action required for a smile creates a calming effect on the nervous system. So even a forced smile can have the same effect too. Humour is so important, it really shakes up our thinking. We find jokes funny because the punchline is something unexpected often. So humour switches our mindset as we see something from a different perspective. So here's a quick exercise that you can do each day. And I really want you to rise to this challenge, okay? And it really does make a big difference. So I just want you to find something to laugh at or smile about every day. And I want you to write it down. I want you to note that down. Because when you do, you'll be able to use that to remind yourself later that it actually happened. So you'll actually get into that habit of seeking out those things that make you smile or make you laugh. And once it's written down, take time to review it too. Remember, as you do it, you might even laugh again. And that's great because it just feels good to laugh, doesn't it? Because laughing swaps the cortisol in our bloodstream with feel-good chemicals in the brain, dopamine, oxytocin, for example, and even endorphins, releasing tension and reducing that stress response. Habit number 4, listening to relaxing music. And this is fantastic. I think we all understand the benefits of feeling relaxed while listening to something that we enjoy. And it's been used for centuries, hasn't it, to reduce stress and promote relaxation, because it really does have the power to transport us into a different world, allowing us to escape from our worries and our cares. Music really does help activate the parasympathetic nervous system by helping you relax the mind. And listening to calming music decreases your blood pressure, your heart rate and your respiration rate. And this all signals to your brain it's time to engage that rest and digest state. Now, music can also stimulate different parts of our brain, including those responsible for pleasure and emotion. And when we listen, it creates a sense of peace, relaxation, and even euphoria. And all of this helps us cope better with life, better with stress and anxiety, generally soothing our nervous systems. Now, when we listen to relaxing music, it increases that production of the social bonding hormone oxytocin too. And relaxing music can even reduce those levels of cortisol, that stress hormone. Dopamine levels also rise in our brain, and dopamine is the same chemical in our brains that happens when we feel joy, such as when we're laughing, eating chocolate, or even falling in love. So music can be so important in your well-being, in your daily life, as part of your self-care. So just think about how you can begin to incorporate more relaxing music or even uplifting music into your daily routine and enjoy the benefits. Habit number 5, movement and exercise. Now, being active releases chemicals in your brain that make you feel good, and that boosts your self-esteem, and it helps you concentrate as well. It also helps promote better sleep, and generally therefore you feel better. Exercise is a great way to lift your mood, and there are many reasons why this happens. Because when you exercise, it increases the blood flow to your brain, and it raises a level of brain chemicals such as serotonin and dopamine, and it helps you feel happier, and again reducing that fight and flight response, and therefore we feel that pressure drop and we feel less stressed. Now, if you exercise outdoors, you also get the additional benefit of natural light, and that really stimulates your serotonin production. And that's so important because higher serotonin levels help us feel good. And also the dopamine rise that we get helps us create that sense of motivation, and that makes us feel good too. So how active do you actually need to be? Well, actually, just getting moving is key here. So it could be as simple as just going for a nice walk. So when you are active or you take exercise, whatever you decide to, and this is really important, try and make sure it's something that is enjoyable and something that you like. Maybe it's something you could combine with a friend or another activity, such as finishing that walk or that run off with a tea or coffee at the local cafe. And that means your exercise and your movement becomes another means of focusing attention away from yourself and problems, and giving you the opportunity to spend more enjoyable time with other people too, which improves things further. And if you found these tips useful so far, I'd really love it if you could hit the like button. It really helps. Habit number 6, visualize change and success. Now, this may sound very simple, but actually it's a really effective technique that we use in therapy. We use these visualization techniques to help clients access their resources, their own natural resources and their strengths, because it's an important method of breaking unhelpful thought patterns which get in the way, and helps replace them with more positive ones and the likelihood of a more positive outcome. So think of it as mental rehearsal for your brain. You're setting the expectation for yourself that things will go well and that you will succeed. Now, there's a very simple way to do this. Just begin by taking some time to relax, And once you are relaxed nicely, visualize a specific successful outcome or a situation or even an event that you're going to be facing shortly. For example, if you usually dread giving a presentation at work because you're feeling anxious about what people might think or what they might say, just imagine yourself beginning to talk freely, feeling calm, relaxed, at ease, breathing easily and evenly, and feeling in control. Try out some of the messages or the points that you want to make. Concentrate maybe on your gestures and perhaps the eye contact that you're going to be making in the room. You can imagine visualizing some of the questions you might get asked, and you can tell yourself, I can do this, I've got this. Really notice too the strong way that you're going to be standing, the body language you'll be using that shows you know what you're talking about. And doing this on a regular basis continues to create healthier patterns your brain has a chance to match to, instead of the old negative ones when you encounter the situation for real. Finally, if you've been dealing with ongoing stress and anxiety for a while, these habits are a really good foundation that will help you when you need to calm down, relax, and in the long term help you cope so much better with life. But you might also want to consider seeking out some professional support from a therapist perhaps, and talking therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy or hypnotherapy can really help you resolve the thoughts and the reactions that create anxiety, whilst helping you relax your mind and body and breaking that often debilitating cycle of anxiety and dread naturally. And I explain more about generalized anxiety and treatment options in this video here. Just click or tap the screen to watch that right now, and let me know in the comments which of these habits work for you. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.